Hey friends, Ari Koinuma here. Thanks for checking in. So today's Deep Thoughts Thursday, I wanted to share with you how emotions stuck in us from the past may color our world view. And there are several things to sort of cover in here, so hopefully you can follow along in terms of the chain of logic here. So I've said this before, but let's review it again. Whatever event that you experienced in your past, if it generated a lot of emotions that are too much to sort of feel all at once, we sort of store them in our body for experiencing later. And oftentimes we neglect to do that, so those feelings stay stuck in our body or in our system. So let's say that I used to believe that I was unworthy of attention, and to get attention I had to prove that I was either extraordinary, like a genius, prodigy, that kind of exception, or I had to become a martyr. So what happened was, whenever I used to show up with my music, whether it was at like a coffee house or open mic, or if I show up online with whatever I put together, right? And rightfully, not many people will be paying attention to that. And while these events in life are neutral, when you have these feelings that you carry inside, they kind of force you to interpret them in a way that validates the feelings that you already have inside. So I came into those events and with this idea that I was not worthy of attention. So when I show up at a gig and there's nobody there to pay attention to me, I would look at them and go, "Oh man, it's so discouraging and heartbreaking. Nobody's here to pay attention to me, and there's nothing I can do in terms of making people pay attention to me." I would feel defeated, I would feel jaded, I would feel frustrated, all those things, right? In that particular situation, I could have sort of looked at that, go, "Oh yes, it's kind of a bummer that there's nobody there to listen to my music, but obviously there's nobody there because I'm sort of an up and coming person. I don't have any sort of publicity, or I have not gotten any attention. I just need to keep at it, trust the process, keep showing up, keep writing better songs, and keep getting better at performing, and I bet people will come." I could not think that way. I was just so busy feeling victimized by the situation, or by how my belief or my inner emotional baggage made me interpret that particular situation, that I could not see any other way. Let's look at another situation, a little perhaps more universal. So I used to also believe that I was just plain undesirable person, that I was ugly and, like I said, undeserving of attention. So that applied to my social situation, in that, for example, I bet some people have experience like this, where you make friends online, you chat, you feel like you're getting a friendship going, you're excited, and then all of a sudden the other person ghosts you, and you're like, "Whoa, what did just happen?" And then, because I would have the belief that I'm an undesirable person, I would naturally look at my own behavior and go, "Oh, I must have done something wrong. What did I say? What did I do?" Right? It's always about me not measuring up, or not doing something right, or doing something wrong, and I would feel discouraged, crushed. My self-esteem would go low. Basically, it's a terrible thing, and I would feel really bad about something like that. If that sounds familiar, I've been there, and I felt the pang or the sting of this kind of situations, and it used to break my heart. But I'm glad to say, Never say never, but for the most part, it doesn't bother me anymore. And here's the reason why. So there's a two-step process. So the first one is that you interpret the situations in a way that confirms the feelings that you're carrying inside, because those feelings are there inside you. And those feelings are waiting for you to come and feel them. So instead of going, oh man, I don't want to feel like this. This is awful, and then I would go do things that distract me and numb my pain, and I might try harder next time, or I might try to make my interactions or my performance perfect. Just kind of have that kind of energy into my effort to get attention or to make friends. You could go that way, but instead of that, I learned that I just need to feel the feelings. I should feel the feelings without judging, without wishing away, as much as I can. And it is very uncomfortable, but feel the sting. And by paying attention to how it feels, whether it's something that it makes you feel really kind of fills up your brain with kind of mushiness, or just uncomfortable sensations, or it might be something that you might feel in physical bodies. As I'm telling you, whatever is residual of those feelings, I feel it right here. It's just kind of like a pressure. Anyway, if you sit and pay attention to the sensation of the feeling, it's you really processing. And if you start crying, or if it's kind of like an anger, and if you feel like punching something, you might do so. All these are contributing to your processing your inner feelings. And there will be a point, although it may not feel like there will be an end to this while you're in the midst, there will be a point at some point where you're like, oh, okay, I'm done feeling that. For my personal experience, it often happens like the next day after I sleep on it. I feel done with that. And then next time the same situation happens, it doesn't bother me anymore. The amazing thing is, so that all these events are neutral, and it's up to you to make meanings out of them or to interpret them. And then you try to think positively, or try not to be so negative, or whatever. But if you have stuck feeling inside you, those kind of efforts will, at least in my experience, fall short, and it just seems to not work. But if you can first feel all the feelings that are generated, and then it really frees you up to make whatever you want out of feeling. So recently, somebody I got to know, or I was getting to know, ghosted me, and I was like, oh wow. I did not feel sad, or I did not feel disappointed. It was obviously unexpected, so it was like caught me off guard. But the next thing I thought was, I felt compassion for the other person, because I'm like, I make somebody an excellent friend, and this person sabotaged it. And I looked at my interactions or history with this person, and I'm like, I've done and said what I normally say, right? So it's just, yeah, the interaction and the incident no longer affects my confidence. I do not look at it as the proof that I'm undesirable. It did not affect my sort of sense of well-being or happiness. The more you can apply this concept, the less baggage you have inside, and that means the less things will bother you. Your sense of inner peace and stability will be more solid, and you feel less bothered or affected by things that are going on. Not that you care less, that is not what I mean, or you stay aloof, or you feel selfish because you lose empathy. None of that is true, but you feel more in control and more even-keeled, because whatever happens around you, it affects you less. It affects you sort of less deeply, it does not bother you as much. And that is a very lighter and freeing and more peaceful and empowering kind of feeling. And as I look around, obviously there are lots of people who are bothered and struggling. And I say this with absolutely no judgment because I was Mr. Struggle. I identified by my suffering, and I thought that if I was not having a hard time, I was not a good person. So I'm with you. I am so with you. But as my therapist told me, at one point I'm like, Ari, is your suffering really working for you? I was like, no, I feel like I pay my dues and I don't have to suffer anymore. And then I embarked on this journey, and life keeps getting better now. And that's an amazing thing. So, whatever it is that bothers you, take that feeling, feel it until you don't feel it anymore, ideally. And then after that, you can take that kind of event and make what you will out of that. And that hopefully helps you live a lighter, more peaceful, and empowered life. Alright, that's it for today. Thanks again for watching. I welcome your comments, reactions, thoughts, disagreements. So please let me know in the comments. And if you feel like there are people that can really use this idea to sort of improve their life, please share this video with them. Alright? Thanks. I'll see you next time.